Someone collapses on a crowded street. You're standing right there. You don't move. 20 other people don't move either. Why? You'd like to think you'd help. Everyone does. But the real answer is far stranger than courage or cowardice. It has almost nothing to do with your character. It has everything to do with the number of people standing next to you. In March of 1964, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment building in Queens, New York. The story that spread afterward claimed 38 neighbors watched from their windows and did nothing. That number, it turns out, was wrong. Later investigations, including a detailed 2007 review by psychologists Rachel Manning, Mark Levine, and Alan Collins, found the original reporting exaggerated both the number of witnesses and how much they actually saw. Some did call for help, but the myth of the story stuck. And the myth did something unexpected. It made two psychologists ask a better question. Not, why are people cruel? But why does a crowd make people quiet? John Darley and Bib Latane were both social psychologists working in New York at the time. The Genovese case unsettled them, but not for the reason you'd expect. They didn't believe the witnesses were monsters. They suspected something colder was happening, something structural. So in 1968, they built an experiment to test it. Picture this. A college student sits alone in a small room, wearing headphones, believing they're having a casual conversation with other students over an intercom. Partway through, one voice on the intercom starts having what sounds like a seizure, gasping, choking, calling for help. Here's the twist. Some participants believed they were the only other person listening. Others believed there were several other people listening too. What happened next surprised almost no one who has ever stood in a crowd and hesitated. When participants believed they were the only witness, 85% left the room to get help. Fast. Almost immediately. When participants believed 4 other people were also listening, that number dropped to 31%. And the ones who did help took much longer to act. Nothing about the emergency changed, only the number of people who seemed to be sharing it. Darley and Latani called this diffusion of responsibility. It's a simple idea with an uncomfortable mechanism. When you're the only witness, the weight of the emergency lands entirely on you. There's no one to defer to, no one to glance at for a cue. The responsibility is 100% yours, and your body knows it. But add other people, and something shifts underneath your awareness. The responsibility doesn't stay whole. It splits. Quietly, automatically, your mind starts doing an unconscious calculation. If 10 people are watching, maybe you only feel 10% responsible. Maybe someone else already called for help. Maybe someone more qualified is about to step in. You're not choosing to be less caring. Your brain is doing math you didn't ask it to do. There's a second piece to this, and it's just as strange. It's called pluralistic ignorance, and it explains something you've probably felt without naming it. Imagine you're in a room and something seems slightly off. Smoke starts drifting in, say. Your first instinct isn't to panic. It's to check other people's faces. Are they alarmed? If everyone around you looks calm, you calm down too, even if your gut says otherwise. What you don't realize is that everyone else in the room is doing the exact same thing. Checking your face, reading your calm as evidence that nothing is wrong. Latane ran a version of this exact scenario, piping smoke into a room where participants sat filling out a questionnaire. Alone, most people reported the smoke within 2 minutes. In groups, most didn't report it at all, even as the room became difficult to see across. A room full of individually worried people can look, from the inside, like a room full of people who have decided everything is fine. Nobody wants to be the one who overreacts, so everybody underreacts together. Why would evolution build a brain that hesitates like this? It seems backward. Shouldn't more witnesses mean more help, not less? Here's where it gets older than New York City, older than crowds of strangers entirely. For most of human history, you didn't live around strangers. Your ancestors lived in small bands, 30, maybe 50 people, almost all of them known, almost all of them kin. In that world, there was no diffusion of responsibility because there was no anonymity to diffuse into. If someone in your band was in danger, everyone watching had a name, a relationship, a stake. Responsibility couldn't blur.